How much should I pay myself? A commonly asked question that is often met with humor, as in, we get paid? Or sad, as in, I've been doing this 2 years and I still don't have anything. And then the one that is really annoying to me, read Profit First, which implies there's some secret contained in that 9-year-old book. So today we're going to explore the weaknesses of that system and as they pertain to food truck ownership. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business. This episode is being sponsored by our friends at Table Needs. If you're a food truck owner searching for a simple yet powerful system to run your food truck business, let me tell you about Table Needs. Table Needs is the complete package, offering a robust point-of-sale system with baked-in QR code menu ordering, a KDS, and automated sales tax, plus hands-on customer support that works with you to help you grow your business. For more information, visit tableneeds.com or find them on Facebook. Now on with today's topic. The Profit First system was developed again 9 years ago, and it's a financial management system that's aimed at helping business prioritize profit by allocating funds to various accounts for different purposes. That's a long-winded way of saying budgeting, but the title of the book implies, and it even says in the chapters, pay yourself first, pay the profit first. Now, what everyone who points out this is a book to read leaves out is you have to budget and then meet the budgets for all your other expenses. Otherwise, something's not getting paid. But we're going to talk today about the system's flaws, especially as it pertains to food truck ownership. Flaw number 1, complexity. Implementing the Profit First system adds a whole lot of complexity to your financial management processes. The book requires you set up multiple bank accounts for various purposes like profit and operating expenses and taxes. I even suggest that. It's not a bad way to operate, but it still requires a couple things. One, you got a budget to know how much money should be going into those accounts. And number 2, you got to do it. You wear 100 different hats as a food truck owner. You have 71-minute tasks to do every single hour. So remember, to move money from one account to another doesn't always happen. Managing those accounts is going to be time-consuming. It can be very confusing, and especially with a small food truck operation that has limited revenue. Flaw number 2, the initial setup. First thing you got to do is set up multiple bank accounts, and then you got to organize your cash flow so that you're meeting the Profit First system. It also requires a significant amount of effort and a whole bunch of administrative tasks. Now remember, you're in most cases a single individual operating a food truck. Maybe you're a couple. So you got a whole bunch of hats to wear. This is a complex system to set up. It's not as easy as pay yourself first. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work for all business types. This is its third flaw. If you have irregular income streams, which is what? A food truck. One weekend you're super busy, the next weekend it rains and you have no business. Somebody cancels a big catering, you have no income. You're sick, you have no income. The Profit First system is very heavily dependent upon steady, predictable revenue. And those 3 words don't fit in most food truck owners' vocabulary because they just don't happen. The Profit First system, it emphasizes profit allocation, which is nonsense. You don't allocate profit, you allocate revenue to pay expenses. The Profit First system is just moving money around from account to account. It doesn't focus on the main things that a food truck business needs. Number 1 is marketing. That's that invitation to please come buy my food. And then number 2, a focus on the expenses. All Profit First system is worried about is you moving money from one account to another, which presupposes you got a whole bunch of money coming in that you're able to move in the first place. The Profit First system is very specific in allocating certain percentage amounts to the different accounts. And while this provides discipline, it's not going to always work, because if you're moving around percentages, what if the numbers are real tiny? Another problem with the Profit First system is it suggests setting aside funds for taxes, but tax regulations are extremely complex and they vary by jurisdiction. If you rely on this system, you might find yourself having issues paying the sales tax, paying your income tax, paying other taxes that are due. One huge fatal flaw with the system is it is micromanagement. The intent is to provide financial clarity, again, which is just a budget. I think I will do $100,000 this month, and this is how I will be spending that $100,000. That's what a budget is. You do it ahead of a sales period, a week, a month, a year. But when you start to micromanage, which let's move some money into this account, and then let's move some money into this account, and then we're going to pretend like we're paying ourselves first, it just does not happen. You can't do it. One of the flaws I've seen is when people are constantly moving funds through these different accounts, they end up overthinking it and losing track of what goes where and when it should be going where it's supposed to be going. The Profit First system focuses on short-term financial management. Pay profit first. It doesn't provide guidance for long-term financial planning. There's no investment and there's no strategic decision making. It's all about paying yourself first, profit first. Now, the one thing I've refrained from saying so far in this podcast is how do you determine profit? This is a mathematical accounting formula. It's not something that Bill made up. It's not something that other businesses made up. Profit is real simple. It's revenue. That's money coming into the business. Then you subtract expenses from the revenue. And whatever's left over is profit. Now, you can't take revenue, subtract profit, and then expect whatever's left over to pay the expenses, because what if those expenses are higher than what you have left over? So what's not getting paid? Are we not buying food this week? But if you don't have food, you don't have anything to sell. Oh, okay, we'll cut back on propane. Well, now we can't cook the food. The insurance will cancel if you don't pay them, so you can't really not pay them. If you're being a good financial steward of your own business, you don't delay a payment just so you can pretend like you're putting money in your own bank account. That's just lying to yourself. And I can guarantee you that whomever you're putting off is going to not be very tolerant the next time they offer you credit. I'll share an example. One of my partners from years ago could not manage money. Sadly, he was also the guy that had the money, so I had to depend upon him to have a financial stake in a business. And we were using Cisco because he loved all Cisco's products. And we bought several orders from Cisco on their credit plan, which I believe back then was Net 10. So we bought food on Monday. We had 10 days to pay the bill. That would give us 10 days worth of sales to be able to pay the bill. He wasn't able to pay the bill. So he put that one off. So when we place our next order, Cisco's like, yeah, we'll go ahead. It's okay. You're only a few days late. But by the time that third order rolled around, Cisco said, nope, this will have to be cash on delivery. So for a business that's already strapped for cash because they're pretending to pay themselves profit, they now have to gather up enough cash to pay for food before they can even get it to sell it. So they've lost their credit standing, all because they wanted to pay profit first. Cannot do it. Expenses come first. Whatever's left is your profit. That's accounting. One of the other weaknesses with this particular system is it requires the business owner to be super disciplined, to allocate those percentages and then to put money in those different accounts. And you got to avoid cheating by using funds from a different account to pay for one that, well, I got to pay. When you cheat yourself just by pretending we're moving our marketing budget, well, we got to pay the Cisco bill, so we'll move this over to that expense. So now you don't have marketing money. But if you paid profit first, like the book suggests, you lied to yourself. Your business isn't stable. Your business is going to collapse. You want to be successful as a food truck owner? It's super simple. Do the work. The steps that I have laid out in my book, real simple. Do the research. That's the first chapters. Research your rules and regulations. The second chapter is all about numbers, your menu, and figuring out your break-even point and understanding how that pertains to a profit and loss statement. You don't need to go any farther in the book than those two things. If you cannot understand the rules and regulations, and you can't understand the math behind the break-even point and your menu pricing, all the rest of it is not going to get any easier. You're not going to make money. You're just going to be one of those frustrated souls that's been working for 2 years, poured a whole bunch of personal money into a food truck, and then they're answering questions like, I haven't paid myself in 2 years. What? We get paid? You start a business to make money. The very first step of your business is to break even. And that happens on day one. Because if you don't hit the break even point for day one, guess what? Day two is now behind. There is no profit there. You can't pay profit first because you haven't made any profit. One of the things that I absolutely despise is when people are not honest with their words. Profit first is an impossibility in accounting. Profit is the result of revenue minus expenses. Because as a business, the very first thing you got to do is have revenue coming in. If you don't have money coming in, you don't have business. So revenue coming in, then you subtract out your expenses, the inventory, the cost of goods, all of your utilities, all your insurances, and all the other incidentals that it takes to operate the business. Once those are subtracted out, what's left is profit. And it could be yours, but you can't pay it first. Because if you don't have sufficient revenue, there's not enough money. Something is not getting paid, and it has to be you. Otherwise, you have no food to sell, no propane to cook it with, no gasoline to turn the generator on. You have no insurance. So tell me, how does profit first work? It doesn't. It's just a slick way to sell a book and get people all hyped up about something they don't understand in the first place. So I'm going to say it one more time. Profit is revenue minus expenses equals profit. There's no other way to do that. Because if you try to do the profit first, it becomes revenue minus profit has to equal expenses. And if it does, it didn't matter where profit was in that equation. But if it doesn't, that means the profit is essentially a lie. Because something's not getting paid, so you actually haven't profited. Don't pay your bills, you lose your credit. Don't pay your bills long enough, and you will find yourself in court. Don't pay the court, and you'll find yourself in jail. Don't pay taxes. You could find yourself in jail. So you really want to pay yourself profit first and just hope everything else works out? I can assure you, it will not. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow because you know I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.